Thanks for staying with us. We continue in South Africa, where a handful of parents have picketed outside a high school in Johannesburg following the death under questionable circumstances of a 13-year-old student, Enoch Mpianzi. Enoch allegedly drowned during an orientation camp outside Johannesburg on the first day of school last Wednesday. His body was found in a river days later. The school has released a statement detailing what happened and has also held a series of meetings with interested parties. But many are still asking questions on the circumstances surrounding his death, as they believe the school's account leaves even more questions. Suspended school activities resumed today, and protesting parents are demanding that the nation must be told what exactly happened to the learner.
First of all, we want to pass our condolences to the family and the mother of Enoch for what has happened. I came all the way from Soweto, because I'm a member of the SGP as well, to come and pay my respect as well and to stand in solidarity with the parents of the school in saying enough, it's enough. Enoch's life matters. It cannot be that year after year we lose children in the hands of the SGP and the school. And what is saddening us is that people are trying by all means to suppress the truth. I mean, we are seeing on Twitter some of the learners are actually coming through. Yesterday actually I took some of the parents to the MEC's office who were saying my child was with Enoch and my child was told by the principal not to speak with anybody. And I mean, it can be. And the parent was saying, I am scared because my child now is going to be victimized. And we say can be. And we are calling on the MEC of Education, the HOD, to say they must take action against the culprits after all the investigation have happened.
There are so many questions regarding the death of poor Enoch. The little boy is so excited to go on camp. And this is an event that all children look forward to. They're hanging out with their friends. It's about instilling a culture of unity, about team values. This is not the value you walk away with from a camp where a child goes missing and there's still no answers to date. The little boy was not accounted for. What happened to roll call before and after? Why 17 hours before this boy was accounted for, before the alarm bells were raised? What about the camp they went to? Did the school not investigate the camp and say, what security measures are there? Why do the parents have to provide a life vest? These places who host the schools must have security measures in place for these children.
The United Nations 185 countries that signed the Beijing Declaration are meeting in their respective countries to take stock of progress made in the 25 years since the first Beijing Conference on Women Empowerment. In South Africa, the Department of Women in the Presidency is hosting hundreds of delegates for a Beijing platform for action multi-stakeholder consultation. Social, economic and security challenges are still being faced by women in the countries on the continent. There have been heightened calls on governments to present concrete actions and commitments to accelerate the realization of gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls by 2030. Channels TV South African correspondent Katleho Lehodi attended the gathering and filed this report.
The year 2020 marks 25 years since the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, which the United Nations has described as a visionary agenda for women empowerment. 25 years later, what has changed? Just as expected in other countries, South Africa's Ministry of Women in the Presidency has officially kicked off its year-long program to tackle gender inequality in commemoration of the Declaration's 25 years. Minister Nkwana Mashabane says the new decade presents an opportunity to do right by women.
Because poverty, unemployment and inequality bears a woman's face. Because wearing a dark suit is still the thing even in the private sector. We should keep defying the odds and making sure that Uhuru reaches not only Sandton and Sandhurst and Hyde Park, but also in the villages where majority of our people live.
The United Nations says not much can be celebrated and that the stakeholder consultations comes as a platform to chart a way forward in addressing all emerging issues.
The greatest challenges were found in terms of norms and culture. The other challenges were, the biggest one was actually violence against women. Patriarchy and patriarchal systems were the next bigger one.
The panel sessions discussed a range of issues from gender-based violence and women and the economy. They shared their experiences and ideas on how the issue of gender inequality can be addressed.
We are still taking a tortoise pace. And it is important for us to go back and start saying very good resolutions, very good decisions, but the implementation of those decisions is quite not taking the necessary traction that is required.
I would believe that there is certain countries whereby there is progress that is happening. There is certain countries which are slower in depending on their economical status, suppose, in terms of their political involvement and all that.
Most women are breadwinners, and already the way things are happening, we must be able to empower even the young man, the boy child, so that they must be equal, be able to rise like any other person.
Stakeholders gathered at the two-day meeting are in agreement that there is a need to continue making a case for the full inclusion of women and girls in order to achieve irreversible goals without leaving anyone behind. From Pretoria, South Africa, Katlego Logodi, Channels Television News.
An exhibition of top contemporary African artists is touring the continent. Organizers hope it will promote creativity and boost sales of African art on the international art market. Notable among the Prête-moi ton rêve exhibition, which means Lend Me Your Dream, is the Cedar Men by Côte d'Ivoire artist Coco B. It is the first Pan-African exhibition to tour the continent, and it's currently in Dakar's Museum of Black Civilizations.
More than 100 works by 28 artists are touring 6 countries on the African continent on a journey that began last June in Casablanca to the north and will end in Cape Town to the south. In each visiting city, which includes Abidjan, Lagos and Addis Ababa, more works will be added to the core exhibition, increasing the number of artists visitors can enjoy. Cedar Men is part of a series Coco B, the son of a farmer, began when he first arrived in Germany on a scholarship to sculpt under Klaus Runke in Frankfurt.
During my first stay in Germany, when I arrived in Europe, I wanted to send back a beautiful image of these Africans who have left and who are currently outside their homeland. And I wanted to send the portrait of these people there with a certain majesty. So I found a very majestic wood, oak. I got a tree trunk, I cut it in 6, and then I sent these images. That was my first sculpture that I created to say, this is us.
The foundation says it doesn't want to limit itself to showcasing the artists. It also wants to promote them on the international market. For the director of the Museum of Black Civilization, Hamadi Bokoum, exhibitions like Lend Me Your Dream is the perfect vehicle to raise the bar at the national, regional and international level.
I think all the artists represented here constitute the cream of contemporary production in Africa. It is practically what you find in all the big galleries. It is what you find in all the big exhibitions.
The museum itself used the exhibition to celebrate its first anniversary. Bokoum says based on ticket sales for the year, which he estimates at around 150,000 people, interest in African art, though timid, is rising.
And that's it on the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Adegoke.